Hey, what's up guys, welcome back to another Grind Cross video. And today, since yesterday we just did the Barn showcase video, and we're now going to do how to counter him. So he is pretty much the, you don't have to use him in PvP, but he's definitely one of the best right now. And we're going to go wasting counter him, which is, it's quite easy on, but there's still a thing where like he's still pretty good, because the extort, for example, the snatch, he can still use it in his turn and then do damage anyway. But there's going to be some tips and tricks of what to do, and some smaller things which you might not actually know. But to be honest, it kind of all depends on what cards you have and what combos you have. Because, I mean, a lot of these cards, like two of them are free to play if you technically class Jericho as free to play, because she's in the coin shop. Green Mediotis, if you rerolled him, he's technically free to play as well. So, this game is definitely a bit different on what the word free to play means, but we're going to go through some clips. I've already recorded the gameplay. It's not live or anything like that, because couldn't get out to work, which is super annoying, so there's no sound of the actual gameplay. But we're just going to be talking over clips, which should be decent enough to make a good video on it. So let's get into it. Okay, so we're in game, and let's just talk about what the actual ability does. So the main problem here is extort, or snatch. He extorts attack and defense and puts it onto himself. So your enemies, all of them by the way, so every single person, and this is base level 20%. It actually does increase up to 50% if you get a gold card, which will be annoying in the future when Gopher comes out. But yeah, you can see straight away 37 damage. The opponent can't really do anything, and that king's already dead. It's quite OP. Well, I guess, yeah, it's quite good, right? So there are ways around it, which we're going to go over here. The first counter is Mediotis. So what does Mediotis do? He has a counter, which obviously, if you hit him at one point, he will attack you. And Barn is he can only do AoE attacks unless he has his ultimate. So right here, I did it on purpose, obviously. We're going to do our AoE attack, and yep, he's pretty much dead. Now, obviously, in ranked PvP, there are ways around it, and you probably won't use it. But it's just something there, if you see the guy keep doing his attacks, or if he's the last one alive, you could actually just use counter, and Mediotis will pretty much always win, unless he gets ultimates. If you really want to, you can just keep on moving cards around until he gets an ultimate. But yeah, that's the first counter, Mediotis. Okay, so the next counter to Barn is actually King. So this is the blue skinny King, which you get for doing story mode pretty early on, I think around 23 chapters into story mode. And obviously the main thing is he has this green card, which you can see on my right hand there. And yeah, it purifies, so it removes the snatch, which Barn puts onto you, which means he removes the defense and the attack debuff you have, which means obviously you go back to normal attack, you like the 20%. I definitely do need to have this in your team, just because it's so important to remove that buff. And then also you do have purify, or petrify, the fossilization, where you turn them to stone. Because if you don't know, and we'll go over it in a second as well, and for other characters too, the stone does actually cancel the effects. So you can see here. Yeah, so in this example, what we're going to do is we're going to put the snatch ability onto the opponents. So you can see they're going to have the minus defense and the minus attack, which we're going to do now. And then some juicy damage, 30k, not bad, 10k on each target. And then King, without using the green card, he used his normal fossilization card, which actually, if you get a 2-star version, you do petrify them, which means you turn them to stone. And if you don't know, if Barn if Barn gets either turned to stone, gets CC'd, like stunned, gets frozen, he will actually get out of he will actually remove the debuff, because cleanses himself. So this is probably the biggest cower you can use against Barn, which is blue skinny King. The only thing is he's blue, so King will probably die very, very quick, because Barn does actually do quite a bit of damage. And if you have Mediotis or even Diane on your team, you're pretty much screwed. Okay, so next I put on the list because why not, Jericho. So obviously Jericho is a quite well known in the community now as like one of the best characters in the game, just for the fact her crit damage is so high. You will see here she does use it ult on like she did 2 attacks on my Mediotis, and she's almost dead. And she's gonna use the ultimate onto my Barn, which we're lucky because she did have the debuff on, so she does have the minus 20% attack, and she still managed to almost one-hit my Barn. Luckily enough though, she didn't get a crit, so we did survive it, and we end up probably winning the game just because of that. But Jericho in herself, if you do level her up properly and have the certain setup to where you can actually get your ultimate pretty fast, she can probably kill any character in the game. I was lucky enough she didn't hit a crit, and lucky enough that I actually had my my snatch ability onto her, because otherwise she pretty much would have killed me. But once again, she is kind of weak, because she's like the quote glass cannon in the game, so she's not the biggest counter. But if you are running Barn, King and Jericho, not a bad comp to run. You know, you will be doing bits. So the next counter is actually going to be the Red Merlin. So we did talk about it with King. She has freeze ability, which if you do freeze, you do remove the buffs. You can see right here I froze, and then they lost all their buffs and debuffs. Well, not buffs, but they lost their debuffs. And yeah, pretty much she can freeze on the hit 1. So you're probably going to have this card more often than actually King's ability. And she is a red, so you know, she does do type advantage against Barn. However, obviously, we do have King on our team, so we can just purify it. Which you know, that's the point. You know, it's a counter, but there are counters to the counters, which is what we're doing here. But she is pretty good. Not the best, I would say. That's why she kind of like, I guess it's not really like a list on it, but she's quite low on, I would put on the list, because Merlin, I mean, you can get some nasty subs, but like her damage is okay, but I don't know, it's not the craziest damage, but she can do bits. And you know, if you are able to freeze him, and you don't have King if you take out King, for example, Barn's pretty much going to be useless once you take out King. Okay, so second to the last one of this is actually the funniest thing. It's actually Barn himself. So Barn does obviously lower your attack and defense, and the thing is, it kind of whoever goes first gets a huge advantage here, because I mean, you're going to be able to use the ability. But Barn obviously puts attack and minus defense onto your characters, so at that point you're pretty much equal, and it pretty much just comes down to, you know, what passive you actually have activated, or what King dies first, because once King dies, you can't purify, so whatever Barn is pretty much going to win that. One thing too, I should say, and you can kind of see it in the clip here, is actually the Elizabeth, which it's the free Elizabeth you get. I think Hostess Elizabeth. Oh, is it? Let me check what it is. Yeah, so in this clip you can see he's doing it, and he honestly probably won the game because of it. Hostess Elizabeth actually heals 10% of your, I think, max HP or damage taken at the end of each round, which, you know, since Barnders has an AoE attack, which does do a lot of damage when you see it on the right, but if you think about it, he's actually doing individual damage to each of the characters, so healing all that little damage he does back over time is actually kind of good, since he always damages all the enemies. So that's probably near the end, guys. You can see here, it does come down to like the last couple seconds. Barn versus Barn, it always comes down to like this like back and forth thing until like no one has like any HP left, and you can see every time I attack, Barn just keeps on healing. So I might actually switch over to Hostess Elizabeth because it's quite OP. So that's all the counters. It is Green Meliodas, which for the full counter. We have Barn, who just counters Barn in itself. We have Hostess Elizabeth, who actually has the passive to actually heal when Barn does damage to the enemies. We have Jericho, who can just like somewhat nuke Barn if you're doing it properly. And in red, Merlin, who can freeze and remove his buffs and your debuffs on your card, but only a tier 1 cost card. And then we have Blue King, who you know, petrifies, so he can't move, and he removes his debuffs and attack. And then we have his green card, which just removes your debuffs. So that's pretty much it. I think that's all for the characters that actually like full on counters. These are the characters you want to use. The best team you could probably go against is probably I would say King, Jericho, Barn, and then probably Hostess Elizabeth. That's like the best counters you can go for. But there are other characters, I guess, like Deanne, who is a blue, which can just nuke with an ultimate. There are like these are like my picks, I guess. I haven't actually like tested other characters. It's just whenever I play online, these are the things I've run into, and I just recorded 5 games, and literally I knew for a fact I was gonna pick these characters, and that's who I versed. So yeah, tomorrow is the new update, which should be a Merlin. We don't know what it is yet. I think the data mine came out, but we have to wait and see how that turns out. So it might be a pause video tomorrow. We have to wait and see. So thank you guys for watching, and peace.